right, hello and welcome back to the Business Octopus. How are we going, Amanda? What's going on?
Look, it's Friday. We're getting it done. I was up nice and early doing my outreach campaign, so I'm feeling very accomplished this morning. How about you, Avon?
Bit more of like a planning and do internal stuff day, but
Nice.
one thing we were talking about earlier was doing things that have a dual purpose, or doing one thing that can solve two or more things, and I guess that's what led us into the episode today of Two Birds, One Stone. And I think I did it yesterday, and this was what was top of mind, which was the sort of getting a video done for a client. They had a question. They wanted to do all of their content. They wanted to train all of their people on what it is that they're going to do, the project, which was implementing a Zoho projects in their company. And so they had a whole bunch of questions, and then they had to kind of like sell it internally to say, this is what we're going to do, this is how much it's going to cost, can we go ahead and do it? And so we had the sales chat, and I could have spent another 2-3 hours having more sales chats, going over the same things with different people. Or I thought, what's better is I just record a video, and instead of making that video just for them, I make it for general YouTube, so that I now have a dual purpose, and potentially I get another customer out of it, instead of it just being for them and being single purpose. Like if I'm going to record a video, that's like an hour to shoot the video, 2 or 3 more hours to edit, and then when I share the video with them, they can watch it, and they're probably going to click through it and then not really absorb it. So if I'm going to do that activity, I want it to be super valuable for 1,000 people, not just the one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the next time that question comes up with a potential client, or even a client, it's ready to rock and roll. You're like, I got a resource ready for that. Let me get it across to you straight away. And you're set. Absolutely.
And I don't think a lot of people really do that often enough, particularly in small business. Or maybe they don't go, I think, I don't want to get on video, or I don't want to, spend the time to, I could just easily answer the question. Yes, you probably could just easily answer the question. But there is a compound effect of hard work that you have to do, is because as you grow and get more successful, more people ask that same question. So even if you do it early on and you think that that question is only going to answer one person or 2 people, maybe that it doesn't matter if that video becomes irrelevant, because you've now built the skill of building a video. You've now gotten to the habit of answering questions with something that then has a lasting value, and you're going to get better at it and better at it and better at it. And that is now your new task, is to create things that create leverage, because otherwise you're just going to be going around and around in circles, and you can't at a certain point run faster on the treadmill. You need a bigger mode of transport, the bike, then put a motor on it, then put a rocket on it. That's just the way it goes.
Exactly. And honestly, and Avon, I know you'll agree with this, there's no excuse in 2026 for not being able to just put even if you have to put a video together quickly, you can make it look schmick very quickly with what's the Instagram one? Is it edits that we were talking about the other day? There's no excuse. No excuse. Yeah. On that note, says Avon, he's got another idea.
So when we were at, we had a community meetup in Toowoomba, and someone said, I need to do more marketing. But I wasn't going to let her get away with like this throwaway line of, I need to do more marketing. But then what? So what? So like, what are you actually going to do about it? What's the thing that we can hold you accountable to? So she's like, I said the easiest thing you could do is, make a video and do something with edits, or, like it takes 30 seconds to produce the video. And so I showed them how to do it in the previous week, and we gave them homework to go and do it. And this week she'd not gone and done it. And it was so simple, like 5 minutes to sit down and figure it out, and then 30 seconds to record, and then another 1 minute to actually physically post with some text. Like that's all it would have taken. And so rather than have her sit there and say, I just need to do more marketing, like, cool, that's a great throwaway line. So what? So what are you actually going to do about it? So anyway, we went through, and I made everybody pull out their phone. I made everybody open up edits. I made everybody do an intro video, or some kind of like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing this, and this is my business. And
Amazing.
once you cross that hurdle once, you can do it again and again and again. And you need to break this mode of, oh, I can't create video. You and I literally, we talk for about 10 minutes before, or 15 minutes before we get into here. We come up with a few dot points, and then we just start talking. So this is not edited. This is live. This is our rant. But we've gotten to a point, yes, our early ones are a bit average, where, you know, we're stopping and starting and waiting for each other to say the next thing. We're trying to like stage up comments or whatever, but now it's more natural. And you know, I used to get shocked when I see 50, 100 or 1,000 people in the how many people watching, but now I don't care, and I could just have the conversation without getting nervous. So, you know, like building content creates leverage, and if you're not creating leverage, you're just on the hamster wheel doing the same thing all day, every day. So, you know, yes, it is easy to do. And, you know, that's the edits version. You've also got Loom, right? I'm on my desktop now. If I need to talk to a staff member, here's how to do this, or a customer, click and go. Sorry, I'm taking over the stream because you've got me in rant mode now. So
rant mode initiated. Let me hijack that thought. So when Avon creates that thing for his team member, so I think we did something the other day, didn't we? We were doing something to a form. So like that Loom video that Avon creates showing someone how to change something, that then becomes part of a standard operating procedure or a workflow or a process. There's no excuse for you to go and remake that thing. If it exists, stop for literally 5 seconds and go, okay, where can I use this to set the next person up to win? There's always somewhere that can live. Even look at this live stream. So Avon, this live stream, we'll go and repost it to LinkedIn, Facebook, you know, all of the places. We might take a screenshot, do a post. We might, there might be someone in the community that says, hey, I'm feel like I'm creating 1,000 things over and over again. Oh, you need help repurposing your content or repurposing what you're building in your business. We did a great live stream about that a couple of weeks ago. We can send that to someone in the community. It's all about just pausing and really just asking that question, how can I utilize whatever the thing is to take me that much further? Sorry, then I went on a rant. There you go.
No, that's good. So like what you were saying there is, you know, the video that you and I created, it was internal. It wasn't polished, but that was fine because that person already, I had previously gotten to write here's our standard expectation. Every time we have a new client, when we go and set up a form for them, that it has to have, you know, a redirect to a nice page on their website. It has to have a thank you email. It has to go to the salesperson with an email to say this form has been completed, and then it has to integrate back through to CRM. So as a minimum standard, we do all of those things every single time. And then I said, like in that form video, even though we did it was just internal for you and I to fix a problem, we were just reviewing what form this other person did. We recorded it. So even though that's only going to my team member, he now knows to go and fix up that procedure to include, these are all the things that need to be done. Here is a video of when it's not worked correctly. And that is an example of, you know, what not to do, or what the manager or owner is looking for every time this happens. So your videos don't have to be perfect. If they're internal, sometimes it's you can say, here's a bad example, or here is some feedback, live feedback coaching that I've given somebody else. And, you know, they might click through it in 2 seconds. They might go and watch the video, read the video transcript, and only zero in on one little thing. But every opportunity to create content is an opportunity to create leverage.
Absolutely. And done is better than perfect, team. Like, you should see, and I'll openly admit to this, you should see some of the videos in our documentation. So in our train your build. And, you know, I'm all about, you need to document everything. You need to get into the nuance, get into the weeds. I don't care that it's pretty. It's internal. It just needs to be done. Some of ours, the sound is terrible, but the information is there. That is the main thing.
And I think if it's all just written, your team, particularly as you grow, you can't build a a working relationship with you. You know, I'm at the point now where, you know, I still know everyone in our company, but sometimes that's not until they've worked there for a couple of months, or like I think 2 months was the longest. We'd had a staff member start, and there was just so much going on that I wasn't able to, you know, meet with that person to build a relationship with them, and, you know, sort of understand who they are. But they can see the like us, right? It's a one-way relationship for them. They feel like they have built some form of rapport, that they have some familiarity with you. But that's not going to happen if you don't, you know, spend time looking at, or spend time on the camera to be present, to be seen, to be heard. And then your personality comes through, your vernacular comes through. People start to understand what would Avon do or want in the absence of Avon being present, so that they can start making decisions without you as well, and hopefully ones that align with what you actually want to achieve. So you're putting your the will of the business into the business. One other point.
Yes.
So, because we're talking a lot about SOPs, but there's more than just SOPs that we can, you know, do have a multiple benefit from. You know, we talked about podcasts and how you can use that as a sales lever if you are having a conversation with someone and you want to get them over the line for a maybe some form of larger deal. You wouldn't do it to sell them a coffee, but you would do it to sell them a, you know, $50,000 plus or 10,000, whatever, implementation project, for example. So it's a non-threatening way to create content that benefits you and them, and a way to build a rapport and ask some questions, or even someone that you want to know something, someone that you admire, that you want to know something from. I did one with a few people, and I felt like I got deeper questions. I got more open answers. They felt more like it was worth their time. And I was able to get, you know, stronger relationship with that person to then get to another outcome. So, you know, think about the long-term game, or the strategic benefit of having a deep conversation with someone for a period of time. I'll pause there, and I'll let you speak, because I've got a few things to get.
We've got some, we've got some hints and tips for when you're outside the office. So sometimes when you're traveling, right, it can feel like maybe you're getting a little bit behind. It's hard to stay on top of what your regular activities are. Good news is there's always a way to Tim Ferriss has this concept of no extra time, right? So how can I double down on what I'm doing and get more from it? So Avon, when you're traveling, what are your hot tips?
Well, you know, I try to run a networking event and get people to come and meet me. Or I'll post on LinkedIn, hey, Brisbane friends, I'm going to be here. Hey, Sydney friends, I'm going to be there. And sometimes, you know, like nothing happens. Other times people go, oh, yeah, I'll be around. Let's catch up for a coffee. And that nurture time, you know, one, I enjoy the travel, but two, that nurture time can be super valuable for, you know, I can end up creating content because I'm there. I can end up, you know, building a connection that needs to be stronger in order to get something else, leads to referrals. But I'm not just going there. You know, you spend your time. You might get up at 5 a.m., jump on the plane, you get there, then you got to take the taxi there, and you're sitting there to meet one person, or, you know, in one company or whatever. Yeah, and then do the same in reverse. Why not use the whole day and get, you know, 3, 4, 5 meetings out of it, instead of just spend all that time and that money on one thing? If you're going to be there, make the most of it. Yeah.
Exactly. Same principle applies. If you're close to home and maybe there's a couple of people that you need to meet, maybe you're nurturing a potential client relationship or a stakeholder relationship, invite them to a local networking event. You get to spend, you know, the 10, 15 minutes you need to spend with them, and they get to meet a whole bunch of other people that can help them move the needle forward as well. So that's a really great way to help them, and also give you the opportunity to get some face time with them, and then do whatever else you need to do at the event as well.
And I think that's a really good way to de-risk it for them and for you. Like, so for example, you got a prospect, someone that you want to try and sell something to, maybe. You say, hey, just casually, come and meet me at this networking event. if we're a good fit for each other, great. If not, well, I can introduce you to 5 or 10 other people. And that kind of makes it lower risk for them. They don't feel like they're purely meeting to get pitched from you. They're probably meaning to get pitched by everybody else, but they're also at that same token probably pitching their own thing. So there's
100%.
a bit of give and take, and they come into that knowing that there is probably some. It's a lower direct threat environment for them mentally, because they don't feel I'm going to go there. I'm going to go, no, I don't like this guy, or it's not a good fit, or I'm not interested, or not right now. It's I'm going to meet some people, and that might turn into something valuable. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's, I hate to make it sound just data driven, but it's a numbers game. The more opportunity that you have, the more opportunity that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we've covered a lot today. We've got, we've talked about building SOPs, about co-locating your travel and your catch-up time, about using podcasts to nurture people, and building those SOPs, and then making a safe space to meet someone at a third-party location, being the networking. I think there's probably a number of other things that you can do 2 birds, 1 stone with. It's just how you need to think as a founder, an entrepreneur, someone who's got to answer 1,000 calls. You need to think about leverage. That leverage can happen in a number of ways. It could be that you pay someone to do something instead of doing it yourself. Like that is a form of leverage. But what we're specifically talking about here is, doing 2 things or doing one thing that solves multiple challenges or problems. And there's probably a number of other things that are like that. In fact, I'd like to ask you at the audience at home, if you can think of anything others that we haven't mentioned, is put them in the comments, and let's brainstorm a few more possible outcomes. All right. Well, I think that's it. We're pretty close to the end. Before we go, we should talk about the Relevate community. And we do a lot of, these sorts of chats where we try to solve those problems. One of the roadblocks that we had the other day with that person who, said, I need to do marketing, but, we held her to account to do that. So there was no excuse. We weren't going to let her off the hook to say some throwaway line of, I need this, but what are you going to do about it? Then we showed her how to do it and got her first one out. So now there's no excuse. She's now got a task to do another 7 before we meet again, a fortnight later. So, that's 1 every second day. That's not that hard. And all we said is be authentic, introduce yourself, talk about what you do, and, don't be too pitchy and salesy. And it doesn't matter how good or how bad those 7 videos are. She's building the habit. She's building that leverage. But without building that leverage, she'll always be, day 1, week 1 in her business every single day of the week. So the Relevate community, that's what we can help you with, and heaps more. Anything else, Amanda?
No, team, keep doubling down, keep killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.